Okay, don't watch this video. It's not made to be watched. The only purpose of this video is as a personal exercise. I originally started a journal because one, it was to help me organize my thoughts and make myself actually try to think through and articulate some of the thoughts I had, as well as to, go through, and in the future, it would be a bit clear in my mind and I would be more critical of the thoughts I have, and I can decide what I actually think. Although, frankly speaking, most of the time it did not actually help me draw conclusions about what I thought. It was just some random thoughts. But it does make it much more memorable. Now, I decided to put it on Twitter because the potential for it to be read meant that I had to be more precise in my phrasing of the words, and I had to think more about it, and also made me much more conscious about the activity of writing just because it could be read. And I didn't really like doing it. So like by making it public, it made me feel more obligated to hold up my promise to myself to write a little bit every single day. And then I decided to do it in video format because it's more difficult, and it will train skills that I want to train, such as speaking fluently, articulately, improving my speech, and also I'm going to hate what I put out there because I can't curate it as carefully and be as precise in terms of editing and changing my words to better represent what I'm trying to say. So by doing it in video, it's going to make me have to do it in one take. I can't go back and change my words, rephrase things, and so the reason I'm doing this is to train skills, and two, because I don't want to do it. And so that's how it is. And now, what is it? Well, so that's why I'm doing it, and what it is just gonna be different thoughts I have and what kind of it's my video journal. And so for day one, that's the why I'm doing it, what it's gonna be, and now it's gonna be the day one of the video format, which is I think day 16 of actually starting the journal. So my thoughts that I wanted to talk about were changing your phrasing to yourself. So when you think to yourself, you might have a various number of thoughts. So for example, let's say I have a donut and I want to eat the donut. I might say, I'm not going to eat the donut until I finish my work. So in this case, the prerequisite for me eating the donut is finishing my work. And the result or reward of the prerequisite, doing my work, is the donut. Now the problem with this is that one, your work is now a barrier to what you want and a restriction. So now you're going to dislike the process of doing your work more because it is caging you from doing something you want, eating the donut. This is just an example, right? And two, if you fail to uphold, like if you have the donut sitting there, first of all, you should probably put it out of sight. But if you have the donut there, or even close, it's going to be more on your mind because you think I'm doing my work to eat the donut. And so if you fail yourself and eat the donut, you're going to feel much worse about yourself because you failed to uphold something that seems like a basic restriction on yourself. Because, I mean, work, it's hard to stay focused on work. Right? You get easily distracted, you think about other things, you have other things on your mind. And what happens is that you have to it constantly takes willpower. Every single time every single bit of time that passes, you go, I want to eat the donut, but I'm not going to. And that takes self-control. It takes a little bit of self-control. So it's draining on, it has a high level of requirement for your willpower, and it's not rewarding at all. When you eat the donut, you go, I fulfilled my basic expectations of myself. So what we do is we change the phrasing. We go, when I finish my work, I'll get to eat the donut. So now it's when I fulfill my prerequisite, I will get my reward. Or I'll get to enjoy my reward. And the difference now is that this is no longer a barrier. It's how would I put it? Like, you're not trapped by the work to stop you from eating the donut. It's just a task and a reward. You do one thing, you get another. Or, for example, if you think, I won't get to leave my class. And now this is different because you don't have as much control. But I won't get to leave my class until it's 3 p.m. Okay? So now you're trapped in your class and you're constantly thinking about the time. You don't get to... You don't learn anything. You're constantly frustrated by being in the class. And when it's 3 a.m., you finally leave. Or if instead you go, when it's 3 p.m., I will get to leave my class. Then you'll be excited for when it's 3 p.m., but also you're just in the class now. So it doesn't make you hate the now. It makes the reward better, and you don't hate yourself as much if things, well, in this case, you don't have control, but if it requires your self-control, then you don't hate yourself as much. So change, I won't result until prerequisite to I will when prerequisite I'll get to result. Or another example is maybe there's a food you want to go try that costs, let's say $20. Let's say there's a cheesecake you want to reward yourself with. Instead of I won't eat the cheesecake until I make $2,000 a month, change it to when I make $2,000 a month, I'll get to eat the cheesecake. Something like that. You get the idea. The phrasing adds so much more positive energy. I'm going to check my notes for any other topics I wanted to talk about or think more about. Let's see. I am not organized. Okay, this one's is I actually kind of hate this suggestion already, but in I think grade 9 English class or grade 10, there was a presentation kind of that we were supposed to do. We were supposed to act it out. It was a soliloquy based on fucking Shakespeare, and we were supposed to, memorize our soliloquy. They act it out, and then we could even use props. I lost marks for not having props, but anyways, I asked to go first, and that it was because I just didn't want to have to worry about it after I did it. It wasn't because I was excited for it. So I went into class. I was like, "Can I go first?" And then but someone else beat me to it. So they said, "Can I go first?" Before I did. So the thing is, I wanted to ask to commit myself before having to do it. So but the act of asking means later I don't have to make the decision of asking when it was time to go. So now I have a responsibility I won't be able to escape, because if it was time to do it, it would be much harder for me to go, "Can I go first?" Because I have to go, "Can I go first?" He goes, "Yes," and then I have to do it. But if I ask before we start, then I go, "Can I go first?" Then he goes, "Yeah, you can go first." Then I prepare myself and I have to do it because it's the agreement. I already have to do it. But anyway, someone else was supposed to go first before me, so I relaxed. I was like, it's whatever. And then the guy didn't show up or something, or like he said he wasn't ready after, and then I had to go first. So like I was ready. Then I relaxed, and then I had to do it again. So now it's like, I'm not ready anymore. But I went up, I did it, and then I was able to relax for the rest of the time. So it's like the opposite of procrastination, right? When it's done. When you procrastinate, so let's say there's a 10-hour period, and it takes 1 hour. And you go, "I don't want to do it." And for the first 9 hours, you're thinking about how you're not doing the thing you have to do. You hate doing it, you don't want to do it, and you hate yourself for not doing it because you're going to have to do it anyway. So it's like 9 hours of it being in the back of your mind and affecting those 9 hours, and 1 hour of doing it anyway. And the reverse is you do it for the first hour, and then your other 9 hours are proper 9 hours, right? It's not negatively affected. And even though I knew this logically, and everybody knows this logically, we procrastinate anyway. It's so bad. It's so difficult. But anyways, so but the idea is, what if we had incentives to always be ready? So like, if we had to always be ready, it would mean that we would have to prepare to do it as if we were gonna go first, because we don't know. So what if? Okay, you know how they say people always hate on surprise tests, like if the teacher comes in and go, we have a surprise quiz today or whatever, and it's all the students are like, oh my god. I don't actually have that, but like, what if they just told you beforehand that the test is going to be sometime this week or like next week, and it's going to be a surprise when it happens? Then what happens is you have to study by Monday, and then maybe it's on Wednesday, right? But now you don't have to wait until Tuesday night and then study anyway and procrastinate. So I don't actually know. I mean, objectively, you would probably hate it, but it would probably also be effective. It would probably actually be good for you. Because, I mean, here's the thing. In life, we're going to have to do things we hate, and it's better to do ones that are better for us, right? That are, you know, bring us better habits. Okay, let me see. What else? Yes. Habit 5, being understood. To seek to understand before being understood, of the 7 habits of highly effective people. This is, I already wrote about this, but this is such a good one that I'm going to read it again, because I'll also connect it with Mr. Simon Sinek. I love listening to his stuff. To seek, so you don't get to decide if you're a good listener, or you get to decide if you are listening. You're listening if the other person feels heard. That's what determines whether or not you listen. So you don't listen by memorizing all of his words. You don't listen by hearing all of their words. You don't listen by thinking you listened. You listen if you make the other person feel heard. That's so fascinating. And it's so special because most of us, especially me, fail to do it. And it's so easy for me to just get distracted, because like somebody will say, they'll talk, and like a few words in it make my mind go off into the distance just thinking about it. Like I'll just and then when they wake me up, like something happens, I pause, and then I realize that all of those thoughts I had make zero sense. That's the problem. Like it didn't trigger some thoughts that were useful or meaningful, or like reminders to do something. It's just it's like I was dreaming. I was just daydreaming. It just made zero sense. So there's that. But, and I mean, one more important thing. I'm going to try to do this every day, and more importantly, because this is a learning exercise, I'm going to try to record something that I found I was wrong about before, or made a mistake doing. And that, because it's like learn something every day, and you grow every day. But but you learn the best from your mistakes. So when you recognize a mistake you made, then it's a lesson that you're more likely to remember. And I'm pretty bad at listening. It's really easy for me to go into a conversation and go, I'm gonna see if I can find out more about someone. That's what I try to do. And then they'll say something, like they'll ask me a question, and then I'll like try to talk way too much about the topic, or like in answering the question, like I expand and add way too much detail where there needs to be no detail. Like this video could have been like 5 minutes. So that was the mistake. I'll count that as the mistake of yesterday, and I'll see if I can find one every day. And you know, if I can't, I'll just try to do it better in the future. But this is basically a habit I'm trying to build, so that's that, including this habit of recording myself speaking. And the reason is because I'm going to hate the video every time I record it, because my speech is poorly practiced, and so it's going to stick in my brain, and it's going to take up mind space as I think about how I should have done it better, because people can see this horrible quality recording and speech. But that's the value of it, right? Because it's going, by making it possible to be seen, it's going to make me hate it and think about how to improve my speech in the future. And I'm hoping that the idea is that maybe in like a year or something, my speech will be much better by then. I think it's a good exercise. Probably. We'll see.